Hi, also I wanted to show you a fire ant colony in full swing. Here you go. Do you see all those little fire ants? And you can see it's a little bit warmer than the other surrounding areas with these grasses poking out. Now you don't want to be sticking your fingers in there because they do bite. Now some people they like to get rid of them by pouring in like soda water or something like that, and that creates carbon dioxide and then they suffocate. However, basically there's an ecological reason for why there are fire ants here, and that ecological reason is that this is not a very diverse ecosystem at this time. And so this is one of the largest residential organisms that can live here. If there were, like, say, red squirrels and other kind of resident animals here, then there wouldn't be as much of a niche for the fire ants, since they're collecting basically the detritus and refuse. They manage to get by on the very little that this ecosystem manages to produce. Over here, so we have the red pines, which you can see, and all of these pines are basically red pines. And then you've got this, and the red pines, they're poison pines. That's what I like to call them, just because every single part of them is poison. The needles are poison, the bark is poison, well, you get it, everything's poison. And this is dogwood. It has some medicinal qualities, and it does produce berries once a year. They're blue, lightish blue color. However, some of them are edible, but the majority cause nausea in humans. Or diarrhea. And then there's I think of the most productive things in this ecosystem are these hawthorns. However, they're not they don't produce berries until later in their life cycle. And then there were what I thought were walnuts, but it turns out I'm pretty sure they're just ash. However, here we have a little rabbit hole. If you can see down there. Can you see down there? It's a rabbit hole. Or maybe it's a groundhog. I don't know. Honestly, it's so hard to tell. But it's some kind of burrowing animal. So that is another animal that lives here. And it somehow manages to get by on the very little that is produced in this ecosystem. But as we increase the amount of things which are produced in this ecosystem, then we will see a greater diversity of flora and fauna, and a decreasing amount of oh, it's definitely rabbit. See that's a rabbit poos right there. And here is the exit hole. So most burrowing animals have an entrance and an exit hole, and so this looks like a warren even. This one might be covered up, but there might be other holes around, just so it can escape, kind of thing. Or those might be old holes as the forest has creeped in. And rabbits eat mostly grass. And so, as you can see, there's plenty of grass here. And here's another. So that's something to be kind of attentive to, is when you have rabbits in the ecosystem, you need to protect your plants from rabbit predation, or make sure that the rabbits have enough food that they are not bothering you. Here's another one. So, very interesting. So that there's a bunch of rabbit holes. So we've got a wear-in over here, and we have fire ants. And as the years roll on and we have more diversity, we will see if we have more different kinds of fauna living here, such as squirrels. Because I've not seen any squirrels, but that's probably because there's no nuts. And the berries are only here once a year. I talked to one of the locals, and they said they hear the birds in this area, but they only come in the autumn to eat the dogwood berries when they're ripe, and then they leave because there's no food here at any other time for the birds. Well, because you got poison pine and you got these lumber trees, basically. Well, the poison pine, it's good for pulp. You can make paper out of it, and then these ashes, and then there's some maples, but like I said, they don't produce much in terms of edible food stuff. So we're going to be increasing that, and that's going to be of benefit to all creation. So here, for instance, we have this is Russian almond or dwarf almonds, and here this is, this was there's another dwarf almond under there, and here this one seems to have gotten munched on. You see it got bitten off. And this is what the rabbit damage looks like. You saw the rabbit earlier. Now over here we have a sea buckthorn, and over here we have another sea buckthorn. And so sea buckthorns, so the dwarf almonds will produce nuts in the summer, and the sea buckthorn will have berries in the autumn. And then we also have this is a black raspberry. You can see it survived the winter. It's already starting to bud, and you can see the little flower tips or the leaf tips coming out. And so that produces berries in the early summer. And then there's wild strawberries, and they produce berries in the springtime. And so that's spring, and then early summer, and then the dwarf almonds would be midsummer, and the sea buckthorn would be late summer, and then you have the dogwood, which would be autumn. And so that's kind of a wider range right there, just with these few plants that we have added here. Alright, so that concludes our educational video for now. May you have forgiveness, compassion, and unconditional love for all beings. And we love you and are grateful to have you watching. And may you live in peace and co-create your own New Age Sylvan timeline with us.